welcome, everyone. We're so excited to be here today discussing the MDSC Buddy Walk. I'm just going to start with the agenda for the webinar today. We're going to start with an overview of the MDSC and the MDSC Buddy Walk. We're going to share a little bit about us, including an introduction to your chairs and to the MDSC team. We're going to talk about how to build momentum for your team, which includes the registration process, messaging and personal outreach, fundraising tips, day of the walk, and we're going to share some more resources for you. We will have a question and answer kind of conversation towards the end. There's a question box on the side, which you're able to type in questions, and we'll try to answer all of those towards the end of the webinar. I'm now going to turn things over to MDSC Executive Director, Maureen Gallagher, and she's going to discuss a little bit more about the MDSC.
Wonderful. Thank you, Reagan. I appreciate everybody being on the webinar today. We're really excited about the upcoming Buddy Walk season. And first of all, I want to thank all of you for your dedication to our Buddy Walk program, and wanted to talk a little bit about the difference that it makes at the MDSC in terms of the impact we can make in the community together. First of all, our overview of the MDSC in terms of our mission statement is really important and kind of always brings us back to what we strive to achieve every day at the MDSC on a very high level. We want to ensure that individuals with Down syndrome in Massachusetts are valued, included, and given the opportunities to pursue fulfilling lives by providing information, networking opportunities, and advocacy for people with Down syndrome and their families, educators, healthcare professionals, and the community at large. And I don't think there's any photo that kind of better represents our community than this beautiful first call family photo that we have at one of the socials. So you can see just a few of the many, many families that appreciate particularly our first call program and all that it has to offer in terms of support and connecting them with other families. Next slide. So when you work as a team captain or as a volunteer or as a donor in the Buddy Walk program, you're making an amazing difference in the lives of people with Down syndrome across the Commonwealth. There are 5,000 individuals with Down syndrome in Massachusetts, and the MDSC has been working hard to make sure that we have a myriad of programs that touch the lives of people from the very beginning of their journey when they first get a diagnosis, either prenatally or postnatally, through our first call program, through the school age years, and we have a number of education initiatives, our teen years, where we have Advocates in Motion and our adult programs. And then more recently, we're really excited about our Your Next Star employment program. We just had a wonderful employment boot camp this past June where 12 individuals with Down syndrome learned everything about what they want to do in their future and talked about their interests and the kind of jobs they wanted. And now they're all working in internships in a variety of employers that we've connected with through the Your Next Star employment program. So that's one of the many programs that people have been able to benefit from because of all of your hard work. And of course, our voices are important, and we have policy priorities on both a public state level as well as a national level. And we have our Buddy Walk on Washington, where we go to Washington every year, and then we have an advocacy day at the State House. So we have our pulse on all the important policies that will make a huge impact in the future for people with Down syndrome. So that's a very important part of what we do. And then, of course, the Buddy Walk program, which we're here to talk about today, which not only raises and funds, but it also creates really important awareness in the community about what the true capabilities are of people with Down syndrome. So I'm really excited that we have two walks coming up, the MDSC Buddy Walk and Family Festival on October 13th and the Buddy Walk Harvest Fair on September 15th. So there are two events, and you may be participating in one or the other or both of them. We welcome as many people as possible from the Down syndrome community and also from the community at large. And now I'd like to turn it over to our two wonderful chairs of the two different buddy walks who help lead as ambassadors to create a really wonderful walk for our families. And the first one that will be speaking will be Danielle Dakotas, and following her, Sarah DeWeird, who have been working really, really hard with our two buddy walk committees. So why don't you start, Danielle, and we'll turn it over to you.
Okay. Really excited to be here. First of all, I just want to mention why the buddy walk is important to me and my family. You know, since we've been doing this, this will be our 10th year, so we're really excited about that. And since we started the buddy walk, it's actually been able to give me a focus and a purpose. You know, the day my son was born, I promised him that I would do anything to give him the best life possible. And being a part of the buddy walk has really been a huge part of our lives for these past 10 years. It's helped shape me as a person, realizing I can gather people who actually really care about one purpose and love each other and all be there for the same reason, and it's supporting Down syndrome. It's helped me become a better mother. It's been inspiring, rewarding, and encouraging. So not only to me, but hundreds of our friends and family. This walk has opened our hearts and lives up to a better understanding and the beauty that surrounds Down syndrome. That's really why the buddy walk has been so important to us, but I could actually go on for that forever. So, you know, we've been a part of this for, like I said, this is our 10th year, and it's my 9th being on the task force. And I've been so honored to be the co-chair for the past 2 years. You could actually say I eat, breathe, and live for the buddy walk for months leading up to the weekend of the walk in October. My brain is constantly wondering how I can raise more money and what new fundraisers can I do. I'm always wondering how big my team will be and how much bigger the walk will be in general. But the number one reason why I love being involved is that we are a team. We're all one. Honestly, like the thousands of people that come together, I consider us one team, and we're all there for the same reason. I'm so excited about the walk because it's us celebrating with thousands of people who all love someone with Down syndrome as much as I do. We bring the awareness, and the inclusion of the event is just something I dream about. Seeing the children shine and smile, hugging the parents I've met over the years, being at the same place with so many people. We not only raise the important funds we need, but to keep promoting year after year the acceptance and inclusion of people with Down syndrome, which is my number one priority for my son. And I walk away the day after the walk knowing we as a team of thousands of people have been successful another year in making our loved ones' lives better by just showing up on that day. I just want to say how I get my friends and family engaged is I harass them a little bit, but I love hosting fundraisers. And for the past 3 years, we've actually hosted 3 large ones. And I like to just party and let them know we're here for a good time, and it's all to raise awareness and funds for the Down syndrome community for the buddy walk. I do a lot on social media. I do a lot of pictures and videos, and my purpose is getting people excited about the walk, leading up to it. And now people are asking me when is the walk and what can they do to help. And what I do is I always keep people updated. I constantly keep people updated and, you know, stay on their brains. But I just want to say that we've been so lucky that we can help bring our family and friends closer by being at the buddy walk. That's what it has done for us in the past 10 years. It's brought my friends and family closer to us. And yeah, I just want to say that I'm excited to see everybody this year. And if anyone ever has any questions, they can always reach out to me in any way, email, social media, or anything. I'm always here to help.
Thank you so much, Danielle. We really appreciate you sharing your story, and we're really excited about the Buddy Walk Family Festival coming up on Columbus Day weekend in October. So why don't we have Sarah Corber-DeWeerd talk about her story and why she is involved in the leadership of the Buddy Walk and Harvest Fair. Sarah, go right ahead.
Thank you, Maureen. So our family attended our first Buddy Walk in 2012 in Wakefield. Caleb was 8 months old, and we felt like by that time we had so much information about Down syndrome. We knew where Caleb was medically. He was making good progress. But I don't think it was until we actually went to a Buddy Walk that we really felt connected to a community that was full of people that were walking similar journeys as we were. And so for us, that day was just a day to be surrounded by like-minded people who were excited about Down syndrome, which was new for us because we had Caleb's diagnosis was after he was born. So we were not expecting it. We hadn't really prepared ourselves for anything like that. So to come to the Buddy Walk in Wakefield was just this breath of fresh air for our family. And suddenly we had this huge community around us, and not only a huge community, but one we really enjoyed, and that enjoyed being with our family too. So it was really encouraging. And I think for us, it was about stories, right? So we knew all the information, we knew his medical status, but to suddenly have in our hands all kinds of stories from families that had done this already or were doing it alongside us was so meaningful, and just gave us all kinds of hope for Caleb's future, which we didn't, you don't know how to anticipate the future of any of your children, but when you add a diagnosis, your ability to imagine that positive future can become complicated along the way. And the Buddy Walk uncomplicated that for us. So that was great. Some of the things that we do to get ready for the Buddy Walk, the Central Mass Buddy Walk, as a family, we've been doing this Buddy Walk since it started. The following year, after we went to our first Buddy Walk in Wakefield, some friends of ours approached us and said, would you help us start one in Central Mass? And we were all over that. We were so excited to help them. And so we've been doing it ever since. This is our second year as co-chairs. So it's really fun to be able to serve in that capacity as well. We see it as a whole family event. We have 3 children, 2 girls who are older than our son Caleb, and they are almost 13 and 10, and Caleb is 8. So they are all at a stage where they can participate and help and volunteer. And so for us, it's a whole family event. And we try to encourage our families to come, our friends to come, and also the people who we share community space with in other communities. So that might involve our school community, it might involve our faith community. So there's all different communities that each one of us participates in. And I think for our kids with Down syndrome, for ourselves as parents doing this alongside our kids, that when you can bring all those groups of people together in one place to share space and share experiences, only positive things can happen. So that being said, there's the hard work of trying to figure out how to get people to come. And this year, the MDSC has rolled out the School Challenge and the Friendship Matters campaign, and both of those things together have worked really well for us to share that. I just got a phone call or a text message a few days ago from Caleb's principal at his elementary school, and she is planning to invite the entire 3rd grade and encouraging families to come. So I don't know who's going to show up. We could have a huge team this year, and we may not know till the day of. So we're really excited about that. When I told Caleb that, he was jumping up around all over the kitchen and super excited. It was like Christmas morning for him. So he's really thrilled about it because he loves friends. And I just think it's a great opportunity for his classmates and their families to see what the Down syndrome community is all about, and to just continue to sort of share stories and experiences together, because I think stories are the way that we can change the narrative about disability in our communities. It's one thing to be included, it's another thing to feel like you belong. And just as Danielle was saying, like, that's your ultimate goal, right, is to create a life for your child that's meaningful, and that he can imagine a future for himself where he belongs where he is. And so that's what we keep working towards. So that's part of getting people to come, is just part of that process. I think that's it.
Well, wonderful. Thank you so much, Sarah. We truly appreciate everything you and your entire family and friends are doing to help build the Buddy Walk and ensure that as many people as possible can benefit from the program. We're going to talk a little bit about the MDSC team. So we have these wonderful committees that are headed up by Danielle and Sarah, which have incredible volunteers who work all year long to help us plan and organize the Buddy Walks. And just so you know, we're always looking for new people to join those committees. So if you have an interest in helping to plan the event, please reach out to Reagan, and we'll be sure when we plan for next year that you'll be included. And then behind the scenes, we have so many MDSC members, team members who are working to help ensure that we have what we need. So Reagan is our overall development director, and she works hard on this event and many other events throughout the year. Josh Kamirov is working really hard to make sure that the awareness is optimized and that the media hear about what we're doing and get involved and engaged, and he'll be talking about that in a few minutes. And of course, Sarah Cullen does a lot of personal outreach to new families who, as Sarah described, really benefit so much by coming to the walk and meeting other families. So she has a whole program that she's initiated within the Buddy Walk program that she'll talk about in a few minutes. So you can reach out to any of us at any time, and we're happy to answer any questions you have about any aspects of the walks.
Great, thank you, Maureen. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about how to build momentum for your team. And I'm going to start with the registration process. Both walks, the registration is now open. We do have a new fundraising platform. So if you have not yet signed up your team, there are some instructions on exactly how the registration process works. These links are all live, so please feel free to use that. And know that you can reach out to any of us if you have any technological problems or questions. Within our team, Elaine Crowley is really great at helping people kind of troubleshoot. So please reach out to us if you have any questions in the registration process. And next is I'm going to talk about messaging and personal outreach. And Danielle and Sarah both kind of talked about this. We find that the best way to really build momentum is to really share your story. So once you've registered for the walk, you'll be prompted to set up a personal fundraising webpage where you can personalize your story, add photos and videos, and include updates for potential supporters. This is a great resource and allows us to really let your supporter know about your family and your experience. Another way to build momentum is to get schools involved. So kind of like what Sarah was saying, we do have the Buddy Walk School Challenge now. And we really feel that school communities play such an important role in your child's life. And it's super success. We've had a lot of success with schools participating in the Buddy Walk. So we've kind of just created this program now where schools feel like they can get involved. Ways that they can get involved is by just encouraging your child's classmates to join the team, asking your child's teacher or administrator to form a team, promoting the walk within the school, or requesting the school to host a campaign to support your team. If you have any questions about the Buddy Walk School Challenge, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to help in any way I can. So next we're going to talk about fundraising, and both Danielle and Sarah kind of talked about this too. The best piece of advice we can kind of offer is not to be afraid or shy to ask. It typically takes about 3 asks before a person decides to donate. So be persistent. People get extremely busy, especially this time of year with school starting, and they really do appreciate reminders. Family, friends, and colleagues are a great starting point when you start your outreach. Other ways in which you can build up on your fundraising goal is by securing sponsors. So we have now allowed teams to have sponsorship credit or count towards their team team overall fundraising goal. And the sponsor also still gets the benefits of the sponsor benefits MDSC provides, including logo, promotion, and all within our communications. There's a sponsorship packet attached in this slide as well. So if you have any information, if you need more information, you can reach out to me as well. Another great way to raise money is through community fundraisers. A lot of team captains do this and have had a lot of success. Some ideas include hosting garage sales, raffles, boot drives in your town, lemonade stands, movie and paint nights, fashion shows, and the list can go on. They're a great way to earn money for your team, and we also have resources for you through our MDSC Helping Hands toolkit. And lastly, I'd like to just kind of share with you, I put up a chart on the webinar of what we'll be doing to motivate teams. So the first incentive is any walker, doesn't need to be a team captain, who raises $500 or more will be considered an all-star and will have a sign along the walk route, and then they'll be invited to attend a luncheon in the spring. The next incentive is if a team reaches $1,000 or more, they'll receive MDSC paracord bracelets for their entire team. If the team reaches $2,500 or more, the team captain will receive an MDSC stadium blanket, and teams who raise $5,000 or more will receive a team tent with a personal banner and stocked goodies. In Wakefield, it gets a little bit challenging because we have some restrictions with tents. So that's limited to the 5 top teams, but the other teams who do raise $5,000 or more are still will still be in an exclusive tent where they'll receive all of that as well. I'm now going to turn things over to MDSC Communications Director Josh Komairov, who's going to talk about social media strategies and working with the media.
Great, thank you so much, Reagan. So yeah, I'll talk first about some social media strategies, and you'll notice some similar tips as in the fundraising. Obviously, they're very closely tied together. So the first thing is to choose what platform you're going to use. I would definitely recommend using a platform that you already have a following on. I wouldn't, if you've never used Instagram before, you might not want to be the time to just jump in when you're trying to get started. And then don't try to do too much. Just kind of focus on those areas where you're strong and make those stronger. And then again, don't be shy. You should really put out there, what your fundraising goal is, give updates on how you're coming along with it. Did you reach a particular milestone? Did you get one of the incentives that Reagan talked about? Those are all great things to kind of put out there and get encouragement for and get people excited about. And then also making your social media feeds fun and interactive, using things like what Danielle talked about, videos, using emojis. And we also, as you can see on the right, we have Caleb featured in a profile frame. We have a couple of them. One is MDSC Walks, and the other one is Friendship Matters theme. So you can find those on our Facebook page that you can use for your actual profile on social media. And then be sure to tag the MDSC. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. That way that we can find it and share it very easily. And also, when you can, use our hashtags, which again, MDSC Walks and Friendship Matters, and that will help us or anybody else find it. We've talked a bit about just sharing your story. So share different aspects of what's going on in your life. Maybe videos of your child learning how to ride a bike. Maybe they're, having a birthday, eating solid food, whatever the milestone is. Definitely, share what's going on in your life so that people can connect with you. And then finally, It's always good to thank your donors on your page, to tag them, and again, using emojis is always really helpful. So those are the social media strategies, and now we'll just talk briefly about how to work with the media in your area. So I would recommend connecting with your local newspaper. Calling as a rule is better than emailing. I think email is fine to get the conversation going, but you're probably going to need to follow up with a phone call. I'd recommend asking for an editor who really has the authority to be able to tell you, that they will be covering it and how they plan to cover it. And then you're going to want to give your elevator speech, so really just the basics of the, who, what, when, where, why about the walk. And one way that we've found helpful to families is our press release templates that we've put together. We have one for Westboro and one for Wakefield that you'll find linked in this PowerPoint. And you basically fill in the blanks, fill in your personal story, and can send it off to your newspaper, and then follow up with a call. And again, just to, you might have to be persistent with them. They're very busy, and make sure that you can get on their calendar. So there's also 3 types of stories that they may be able to cover. There's a preview, a day of story, and a recap story. So the preview is obviously going to be something before the walk, and you would have to provide your own photos of your child or your family for them to be able to use. And they can interview you, and you can share your information that way. For a day of story, that would basically be a reporter and possibly a photographer coming along and shadowing your family at the walk, so you would have to be comfortable with that. But that's a great way to have a really nice story that is very comprehensive about what goes on during the day. And then finally, a recap story, which can be great actually, because you get to share photos that actually happened at the walk that you could share with your media. And then finally, really try to make sure that you talk to the reporter enough to know that they have the story right. And one way to help to do that is with our People First language guide that gives important information about how to talk about our community and about Down syndrome. And I would ask the reporter to summarize what their story or angle is going to be, so that you can understand what the angle is that you're taking, and that they understand that it's not a sob story. What we're talking about a celebration, something that people are thrilled about, and about the connection that's happening at the Buddy Walk. And then just put it out there again, the success that you have with the traditional media, with your newspaper, you want to put online so that everybody else can see it. So those are my tips for working with the media. And now I will hand it over to Sarah Cullen, our Family Support Director.
Thanks, Josh. So the Buddy Walk days are so busy and there's so much going on. So we wanted to just highlight some of the exhibits that we often have at both walks. There's a first call tent, and actually next to the tent is a play space where we welcome new and expectant families, and it's just a wonderful way to have a little downtime, or if the sun is too hot, to be cooler, or if it's raining, to be dry, but a wonderful place to make those connections. The dads group is very strong across Massachusetts, and they're often at both walks with information about upcoming events and ways to engage. Our grandparents group has done an amazing job starting some subgroups across the state, so we always have grandparents there welcoming our family's parents into the community as well. DSAC is our Down syndrome autism connection. They're often at both walks with information. Our AIM and SAC groups are Advocates in Motion and Self-Advocate Advisory Council for programming and events for our teens and adults. Legislative advocacy, which is so strong here in Massachusetts, so a great way to learn about what our legislative priorities are and how to get involved. We're very lucky here in Mass to have 3 Down syndrome clinics, UMass Children's Hospital and the Mass General Hospital Clinic. So again, a great way to connect directly with them. Some of our self-advocates have exhibits, especially in the Westboro Walk, but a great way to see some of the amazing talents showcased from adults within our community. And the Adoption Network, as well as Reese's Rainbow, is often represented as well. So we just wanted to highlight that those exhibits are there and a great way to make connections and receive information and resources. So for the day of the walk for our new families, I think it's just, I often say to people, it's absolutely our favorite days of the whole MDSC year. It's just an amazing opportunity for new families to feel the love and excitement and celebration within the larger community, and for us to help give just a very warm welcome into the larger community and help with more connections as well. So leading up to the event, we send a personalized letter to all of our families who have a child 0 to 5, and just really highlight what the walks are, what to expect, how to make it more fun and accessible, especially with little ones, bringing strollers and wagons and chairs and blankets, and just really offering them opportunities to connect ahead of time so that they do feel comfortable. We do a lot with our diversity outreach committee is very strong, and for many years we've offered a free round trip bus from Boston to the Wakefield Walk, and scholarships as well, because we want this to be accessible to everyone. So anyone can reach out directly for information about those. And then specifically for our new families, as I mentioned, we have the first call tent and the play space. I think Danielle and Sarah and the committees and the MDSC team have been super creative in ways to really help new families feel that welcome and warmth. Last year we introduced, as you can see in that upper left-hand corner, My First Buddy Walk bibs, which were a huge hit. And again, just a wonderful way to feel the warmth and the connections within the community.
Thank you, Sarah. Now I'm going to give you guys a few highlights from each walk. So starting with the Buddy Walk in Harvest Fair, we're excited that Kennedy Elsie from Mix 104.3 is going to be the MC this year. We have DJ Dan returning. We will have a performance by the Dance In. We will have a raffle. Knucklebones will be joining us. The Home Depot is also going to be joining us, where they will be in the Arts and Crafts tent. Westboro Police and Fire will both be there with trucks and motorcycles and some police cars for kids and families to visit. We'll have costume characters walking around. There'll be horse carriage rides along the walk route and the lake. Uhlman's Ice Cream will be providing a post-walk ice cream treat. We have a food truck this year run by an individual, Cassidy, who has Down syndrome. And there's a story in the Telegram and Gazette which features her, and we're really excited that she's going to be joining us this year. And then All Purpose Bakery will also be there as well. And then moving on to Wakefield, we're excited to have Lori Berkner from the Lori Berkner Band doing a performance. Vanessa Welch from Boston 25 is going to be emceeing the event again this year. She was so awesome last year. We're really happy that she's joining us again. The Boston Ballet will be doing an interactive dance demonstration, both on stage, and they're also going to have a tent in the field as well. We will be having Friendship Matters activities throughout the day, arts and crafts tent. We have a post-walk DJ dance party with DJ Dave. Again, costume characters walking around. Mr. Vic Musical Petting Zoo, pre-purchase lunch, box lunches. The Lions Club of Newburyport will also be there with their food truck providing food for purchase. We'll have snacks and water and a lot more. These were just kind of the highlights. So the logistics, parking, and site maps. 2 days before each walk, we'll be putting out a communication with final details, which will include driving directions, parking instructions, and an updated site map. This will also include any last-minute details, and I do want to say that both walks are rain or shine. And lastly, I just wanted to provide everybody with some additional resources, the press release templates. There's a fundraising toolkit for each walk, and again, the sponsorship packet that you can use to support your team. So now is the time, if anybody has any questions, feel free to type it into the question box, and any of us are available to answer any of the questions. So we're really excited that the Buddy Walk and Harvest Fair is in less than 3 weeks. And then shortly thereafter is going to be the Family Festival. We're really excited to see you guys at one of the fall Buddy Walks this season. Again, we are always available if anybody has any questions or wants to discuss anything or has any concerns, please reach out to us. Thank you so much. You're truly making a difference, and we really look forward to celebrating with you this fall.